The National Football League is no stranger to controversy. Over the years, fans have witnessed jaw-dropping scandals, unexpected arrests, and behavior that tested the boundaries of professionalism. But in the fall of 2005, one incident rose above the rest, not for violence or corruption, but for sheer unfiltered chaos. It happened not in a stadium, not in a locker room, but on the quiet waters of a lake in Minnesota. What started as a night of fun quickly spiraled into one of the most outrageous off-field stories in the league's history. A group of Minnesota Vikings players, frustrated with a rocky season and looking to blow off steam, decided to throw a party. But this wasn't any ordinary get-together. They rented 2 luxurious boats on Lake Minnetonka, invited dozens of women, and created a scene so wild the crew members were left stunned, and authorities were eventually called. Reports would later describe open sexual activity, excessive drinking, and behavior so reckless it shocked even longtime NFL insiders. As details emerged, the headlines exploded. Sports networks, news outlets, and late-night shows couldn't get enough. Names were named. Allegations flew. Reputations crumbled. What had been planned as a night of escape turned into a full-blown scandal that rocked the franchise and embarrassed the league. This was more than just a party. It was a moment that exposed cracks in the culture, accountability, and image of one of the NFL's proudest teams. This is the story of the Love Boat scandal. It is bizarre, it is infamous, and it is absolutely unforgettable. And by the end of this video, you'll see why it remains the wildest party the NFL has ever seen. The year was 2005, and the Minnesota Vikings were in a state of turmoil. Just a few years earlier, they had been one of the NFL's most electrifying teams. Led by quarterback Daunte Culpepper and wide receiver Randy Moss, they struck fear into defenses. But Moss was now gone, traded to the Raiders, and Culpepper was struggling. Injuries, inconsistency, and a growing leadership void plagued the team. Head coach Mike Tice was barely holding things together. With a disappointing 1-3 start to the season, pressure from the media and fans was mounting. Behind the scenes, locker room morale was deteriorating. The team was packed with strong personalities, some veterans, some still trying to prove themselves. And with leadership lacking and emotions running high, all it took was one ill-conceived plan to push the team over the edge. When the bye week rolled around, players saw it as a chance to unwind. Instead of taking time to recover or regroup, a group of them organized something far more extravagant and far more damaging. On the night of October 6th, 2005, 2 luxury houseboats were rented and launched onto Lake Minnetonka. But this wasn't a team-bonding retreat. It was, by all accounts, a full-on floating bacchanal. Approximately 17 Vikings players boarded the boats, accompanied by dozens of women, many of whom had reportedly been flown in from out of state and hired for the event. The crew, made up of professional charter staff, quickly realized this wasn't a normal party. Eyewitness accounts described open sexual acts on deck, players engaging in group activity in plain sight, and crew members being subjected to extreme lewdness and inappropriate behavior. One of the most shocking stories involved a player using a double-headed adult device in front of the staff. Another urinated off the boat onto private property. And it didn't stop there. The party, loud and chaotic, drew unwanted attention from neighbors and marina staff. Crew members would later testify to feeling disgusted, unsafe, and horrified by what they had witnessed. As the boats returned to shore, the night was over. The real story was just beginning. The investigation would soon reveal that some of the team's biggest names were at the center of the chaos. Cornerback Fred Smoot, known for his confidence and trash talk, was identified as one of the main organizers. He was alleged to have taken part in the most explicit behavior, including the now infamous double-ended device incident. Offensive tackle Bryant McKinney, a physical giant on the field, was accused of performing public sexual acts on the boat's bar. Running back Mo Williams and quarterback Daunte Culpepper were also charged, though Culpepper's charges were eventually dropped. Their participation, or even just their presence, sparked outrage. As team leaders, their actions weren't just bad optics. They were betrayals of the responsibility they held to the team, the fans, and the league. Crew members reported the behavior immediately, and the boat owners contacted law enforcement. Within days, the story broke in the press. Minnesota media picked it up first, but national networks weren't far behind. Sports reporters, talk show hosts, and late-night comedians descended on the story with glee. The Vikings were suddenly the butt of every joke, and not because of their record. Head coach Mike Tice publicly scolded his team, but many viewed his response as too little, too late. The locker room began to fracture. Veterans lost respect for one another. Team chemistry was destroyed, And the franchise, already off to a disappointing start, never fully recovered that season. When the investigation concluded, 4 players, Fred Smoot, Bryant McKinnie, Mo Williams, and Dante Culpepper, faced misdemeanor charges. Smoot and McKinnie accepted plea deals and were sentenced to community service and fines. Williams was convicted of disorderly conduct, while charges against Culpepper were dropped. Internally, the Vikings issued heavy fines and initiated conduct reviews. Head coach Mike Tice was let go at the end of the season, and although officially it was for performance, the scandal undoubtedly sealed his fate. The NFL itself faced criticism for its slow response. The league would later tighten its personal conduct policy, but many believed the Love Boat scandal should have sparked that change earlier. It became a case study in what happens when off-field behavior is allowed to fester without consequence. The scandal went viral before going viral was even a phrase. Headlines screamed with salacious detail. The term Love Boat became a nationwide punchline. Late-night comedians, radio hosts, and satirical publications had a field day. Even years later, fantasy football teams bore names inspired by the event. The scandal transcended sports. It became a pop culture moment. And like all infamous moments, it left a scar. The Vikings, once known for their high-powered offense, were now known for a sex scandal on a lake. Every player tied to the event carried that stigma long after the season ended. Coach Mike Tice was fired. Dante Culpepper was traded. Fred Smoot's stint with the team ended shortly after. Bryant McKinnie remained for a few years, but never escaped the shadow of the scandal. The team implemented new conduct policies, increased supervision, and initiated community outreach efforts in an attempt to rebuild trust. The ownership publicly pledged to restore the culture and take player accountability more seriously, but the damage was done. The Vikings spent years trying to escape the reputation forged by that single night. Every new coach, every locker room leader would be compared against the failures that led to the Love Boat. The incident wasn't just a moment, it became a defining mark in team history. The Love Boat scandal serves as a powerful reminder that in the world of professional sports, the difference between fame and infamy can be one bad decision. The players involved weren't villains, but they were reckless. They underestimated how far the consequences of one night could reach. For the NFL, it was a signal that the league's public image was fragile. The fallout pushed the league to take off-field conduct more seriously, laying the groundwork for stricter behavior policies and player education programs. For the Vikings, it was a moment of reckoning. A team that had once commanded respect was suddenly the face of embarrassment. It took years and plenty of humility to begin the process of rebuilding. And even now, when people talk about NFL scandals, the Love Boat always comes up. The Love Boat scandal may have ended in 2005, but its legacy lives on. It's a story about consequences, about how quickly things can spiral, about how the actions of a few can stain the reputation of many. So now we turn to you. Do you think the NFL did enough? Were the players treated fairly? And what would have happened if this story broke in today's social media age? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you found this story fascinating, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into the wildest moments in sports history, and don't forget to turn on notifications, because next time we're diving into the craziest contract clause in NFL history. And trust us, it's even stranger than you think. Thanks for watching, and remember, not everything that happens on the bye week stays on the bye week.